Dreams without goals are just dreams.
Come on.
And ultimately, they fuel disappointment.
Exactly.
On the road to achieving your dreams, must apply discipline, but more importantly, consistency. Because without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish.
For Palantir, all these daily things don't matter. I'll tell you what does matter. If we don't get NHS, that matters. If we don't get Titan program, that matters. All these little things, they don't really make a difference, right? These are just little minor moving pieces in tangent, but they're not part of the main machinery. So that's what I do. I look at my main thesis, how long you need to invest for, and it's a long-term investment, just like real estate. I don't invest for a day. So whatever happens today doesn't really make a difference. What happens in the macro makes a difference. And people just need a plan. Right or wrong, you need a plan.
And I like that you said that NHS thing, Adam, because I remember when we did the live stream Arnie was referring to was about the Q2 Palantir results we did last month. And you had asked me, I had stepped away for about 10 minutes, so I missed the topic. But then I came back, you asked me, you said, oh, what do you think about the NHS and the Titan? If they don't get it, it's a big deal. I think I responded that it wasn't a big deal. But now the way you just explained it to me, I like that. So maybe I would lean more on the side that it is a big deal. Arnie, what do you think about that? Because I like the way he said it there. Like, the little shit doesn't matter for Palantir, but the big stuff is what's important. And if NHS and Titan are big, well, then it actually does make a big effect if they don't get it.
I would say, let's start to what happens if they don't get the deal. Would it be a sign that it's a bad company? In my opinion, it's not that dramatic, but for sure it is a big hit. Because the entire thesis of Palantir is we want it to become the operating system of the entire Western world. And to get there, you need the check from these big contracts testifying, okay, this is a very difficult contract to get. If you're able to get that, all the other contracts would get much easier to get. At least one of the two, in my opinion, needs to be fulfilled to say, okay, maybe there was something wrong, there was a random. If none of the two passes, that would be a very bad sign. We know that there are very good signs hinting in the direction that the NHS deal has gone through. On the Titan thing, we know that at least Palantir is in the final place. So, of course, they were not bad. Would it be a game changer? I would say if they don't get it, is not the end of the world. That would be a red flag, I would say.
But just the way Adam phrased it, the way he phrased it, I liked it, Arnie, because he was saying, okay, like, we don't have to worry about the little shit of Palantir that people keep trying to bring up every day with all the noise, little thing here, little thing there. But the big things are actually, because that's our story, right? When we're ignoring the small things, it's like, oh, we're focused on the big things. So if the big things are NHS and Titan, it's like, well, listen, Palantir, you got to do your part and like pull through at least on the big shit.
I agree with that. I think it depends on what thing you are more focused on, because the NHS and the Titan are both related for the government space, while I give more weight to the commercial side. And from my point of view, the growth in the commercial side is far more important, while I see the government side more as something that I want to be there, especially in times of geopolitical tensions right now.
If the thesis is this, I'll answer all of this in my opinion, and we have a difference of opinion, me and Arnie, on this one. If the thesis is Palantir can do amazing shit that nobody can do, and the thesis is we're scaling down from doing amazing things to try to get into smaller companies and smaller clients, right? To increase the clients. But a company, for example, Snowflake, is scaling up. So they're doing not enterprise builders, not empire builders, but they're solving a specific problem, but not many problems in coordination with each other, preemptively thinking, how can we do better, right? That's the difference. So if Palantir does not get this NHS and somebody else does, that means that there is a different game in town. That means that there's a different player. That means Michael Jordan is not there. That means Michael Jordan and LeBron James are playing at the same exact time, and maybe even a Kobe Bryant. They're playing at the same era. And that's a problem. So if Palantir does not get NHS contract, that's the first problem because there's somebody else that could do it. The second problem with that, in my opinion, is two tiers. That NHS contract is going to be worth $1 billion over 10 years. That's $100 million revenue per year from government. No matter whether you're focused on government or commercial, that is a huge number that we need to get. Second, on that we need to get it. There's going to be so many trickle-down businesses in healthcare from commercial, but the only reason we're going to get those commercial, which is what I think is happening right now, is because we're going to get the NHS contract. So, for example, if you're a huge hospital, private hospital, you're going to say, oh, wow, if Palantir can get the whole NHS system, that sucks. Anybody, and I'm not making fun of anybody that's in United Healthcare, like in England, I think Canada has United Healthcare, right? Like basically, it sucks. A lot of people go abroad for medical treatment, even though it's free in their countries. So if they can make things better, all the private companies are going to say, hold on a second. If Palantir can make NHS better, they can make us better. That's why I believe it's vital. However, if we lose the NHS contract to, for example, Snowflake, God forbid, then all these companies, private companies, are going to keep running to Snowflake, as they already do. Hospitals go to Snowflake. They don't go to Palantir right now. But the mega hospitals with many chains in many different countries are going to run to Palantir if we get it. That's my thesis. Could be wrong. That's my thesis.
I agree. I actually underestimated the same point I'm trying to highlighting, and we discussed before that every new contract is not just a standalone contract, but a contract that opens automatically all the doors of the easier channels. So in terms of a network effect, having this big player like the NHS and the Titan automatically sets the route to increase the growth for the coming years.
To be honest with ourselves, if they get the NHS, we're going to celebrate. And we're going to be like, oh, we're the best. We knew it, blah, 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 Palantir to the moon. But if we don't get the NHS, then we can't, it would be hypocritical for us to dismiss it and be like, it wasn't that important anyway. So maybe it's as important as the celebration would be.
On my mind, if we get this NHS, which should have been announced September 5th, but then it was redacted from the websites, that no longer are we going to get that answer. Doesn't mean Palantir did something wrong. It just means that we're probably not going to get an answer December 5th. So the question is, why are we not getting it, right? So something like that doesn't really bother me. Something like that. As long as we get the NHS contract, right? So that's my thesis. I look at the bigger pictures, and the companies that I invest in is companies that nobody can mimic. Something that, like, leading technologies, right? Like you have the home run, for example.
Mm-hmm. Adam, since we are talking about being affected by the prices, how do you check the prices, and does it affect you anyway? Because we said basically you have two kinds of people: those who are affected by prices, and those who just say, okay, the price change is fine, or others who just don't look at it anyway.
More specifically, NVIDIA was down 11% yesterday. Adam, answer Arnie's question, but with that in mind, NVIDIA down 11% at like 2 p.m. Like, what did you do?
The reason why I started buying today and yesterday is because of the overreaction to Jerome Powell. Because he's been saying this the whole time. For some reason, people don't want to listen, but he's been saying he's doing 75. Sure. And it's going to be 75 basis points. It's just he reiterated now, and the market is overreacting to something we already knew. But however, you got to try to foresee the future. Everything is lagging indicators, right? So today came out jobs report. We came out with 6 million unemployed people. As per yesterday, it was 5.7 million unemployed. Predicted was supposed to be 3.5 unemployment rate. Now we have 3.7% unemployment rate. Unemployment rate, and Arnie's going to love this, these numbers mean absolutely nothing unless you're comparing it to something else. There's also something called a JOLTS report, JOLT. And the JOLTS report gives you the job openings and labor turnover. When Jerome Powell speaks and he gives a number of 1.9, he keeps saying, oh, 1.9 job openings for job, seekers. That's where he's getting it. So as of yesterday, job openings for people seeking 1.96. Today's numbers, 1.86. When that number keeps going down and unemployment keeps going up and gas prices are going down and crude oil prices are going down, that means probably CPI is going to come down in 2 weeks. PPI is going to come down. Core is going to come down. Consumer sentiment is going to go up at the end of next month. Preliminary consumer sentiment comes out a day after FOMC meeting. All these things matter, which means this is going to tell you a story of what's going to happen after the 75 basis points. So you're trying to prepare not right now, but what's happening in 6 months, what's happening in a year from now. So all of this together is the reason why I bought into this dip right now, the overreaction dip. So yeah, daily numbers, they bother me. But they only bother me because I had margin. As I'm paying off my margin, this doesn't affect me. That's my main goal right now. Just get rid of my margin. And you take advantage of the dip. The problem is everybody says dip, dip, dip. And you know what they do? When Bitcoin is 60,000, everybody says, I wish Bitcoin's going to go to 20,000. When Bitcoin hits, 50, 40, all these numbers, nobody buys. And then when the price starts going back up, huh?
Obviously, as always.
Yeah. Same with Palantir. Everybody, Adam, I can't wait until Palantir hits $8. And to them, I say, you guys are stupid. I don't bet against my own team. I don't do shorts. Like, I would never want my price to go down, obviously. But if it does, take advantage of it. I never understood getting in at a low price. I know the concept. I get it, guys, obviously. Sell high, buy low, obviously. But I never actually understood the concept until I spoke a little bit more to Arnie and I understood the strategy. So now I'm just trying to be more patient. And if it goes up and I don't buy more, there's always another deal. AMD, NVIDIA. I'm also adding AMD positions, by the way, guys, to offset the NVIDIA situation because they're not going to get hit as much.
Also, in terms of the macro, you follow macro much closer than me, but I see that you are able to go to talk about the details, but to make that one step back, because the perception that is shared when people generally talk about macro is you have a data point that is not positive or that is not going in a certain direction. Oh my God, the world is going to end. That is the perception that is absolutely wrong. Talking about macro, in my opinion, should be done in the same way you look at the companies. There are a lot of information and you need to really ask, what are the key things that matter? Because for Palantir, potentially we could speak of the details, of the financial details for weeks. But what are the key things that actually make us understand if the business is getting better and better or there is something wrong? The risk of getting too close into the details is the risk of missing the big picture. And also with the market, with these drops, the big picture is, okay, we are already at the zone where you can basically buy years of business growth for little or even nothing. In economics, it is always easy to look one data point and say, okay, this is the principle. Actually, my girlfriend always criticizes me for doing that. And I'm really trying not to be an economist. That is what I studied.
My kids are freaking, guys. I gotta go. Thanks for everyone for being here. Peace out.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.